guy that used to do the FNR, that's the Football Nation Radio breakfast, is about to join us. I actually missed his breakfast spot. Athos Sirianos joins us. G'day, mate.
Hello, George. Glad to hear that I've got a fan.
You have got a fan, and you were doing a terrific job with Ed and the others. Young Nick used to give you some grief at times, but let's move on. It's been a busy period since the last time you and I spoke, because the AFL, not the AFL, but the A-League has actually got to a very interesting stage. We've finally got the premiers over the line, which was quite an extraordinary evening of tension, drama, theatre, and of course then the delivery of the trophy. And we got to see a whole bunch of players behind the scenes really lap it up. I got to catch up with Nathan Atkinson, and he's hoping to be ready for if they make it into the semi-finals or the grand final. And another guy who looks like he really is chomping at the bit to get back, if the doctors let him, is Andrew Naboot.
Well, City will need all the reinforcements they can get for finals, because they will lose Jamie McLaren, Curtis Good, and a host of other players due to the international commitments, the World Cup qualifiers that clash with the A-League finals. Not much we can really do about it, considering we have to finish the season before the deal with Fox ends, which is later in June, July. So we have to fit in all these games, which is why we're seeing so many games over a short amount of period. We had a lot of matches postponed and cancelled earlier in the season that have to be finished before that deal ends. But we are feeling a bit ambivalent as football fans. We heard some great news of paramount significance during the week. And then, of course, in Melbourne, we've had a few games cancelled of the like because of the lockdown. But it has been quite a newsworthy week in the game.
It has been very much so. What have you made of the news that Viacom and CBS, the giant that owns the 10 network in Australia and all its streaming platforms, has decided that it's going to launch a brand new streaming platform in August, and it'll be, as you said, Paramount, that'll be the brand that will carry that, and it looks like it'll carry the A-League. We also understand that the W League will have 10 Bold, which is another one of the streaming platforms, part of the 10 network. And we're now hearing that 10 Play will cover all the other games. So exciting, really interesting. And more importantly, I remember what Channel 10 did with the cricket. They turned it from nothing much to something quite special. I remember what Channel 10 did with basketball years ago. So, and the other thing is that this deal with CBS and Viacom means that they're stakeholders in the game. So they will be very keen to make it work.
There is a lot to unpack in this. The biggest one that has come out of it, you're right, is that 10 and the relevant stakeholders have a vested interest. They've bought into the competition and into the Australian professional leagues, which is fantastic, which means that we almost guaranteed that they will put a lot of effort into making this work. We know previously, George, there has been a bit of conflict between A-League fans and Big Bash fans. A-League fans feel as though the Big Bash is very Mickey Mouse competition, very gimmicky. But what 10 has done with the Big Bash has been extraordinary. They've created a massive care factor around it. They've made people really care and devoted to it, and it's exactly what the A-League needs. There are football fans out there, but there is a gap between the 2 million that play football, and then when it comes to the A-League, no one's really interested. So hopefully 10 can give it that shot in the arm that it desperately needs.
And one thing that I've noticed, you touched on it earlier there, their participation numbers are huge in Australia for the game. That's men and women, which is extraordinary and wonderful, but it doesn't always translate. But where 10 is now looking, I think they're going to be pushing this and building this game to bring on more and more young viewers. So they're going to be telling a different story in a slightly different way. Get up and go and deliver.
Well, of all the mainstream networks, 10 has the youngest audience and also has the highest rate of female audience members too, which is really positive considering that they're going to be showing one W League game a week on 10 Bowls and one A-League game on the main channel, 7:30 every Saturday. So like to think that all the big games, your derbies, your Victory Sydneys, all these type of games will be played on Saturday night for this reason. The other 6 games in both competitions will be behind the Paramount paywall, the streaming service, which at this rate is $9 a month. We are hearing that the A-League clubs, because they can, because of the unbundling with the FFA, could offer incentives for people to sign up as members because they might get a discounted rate. We know in the NBA, what they do is fantastic with the Live Pass, where they set up different tiers. So they say, right, for this much, you can watch 10 minutes of the game. For this much, you can watch your team, or for this much, you can watch every game. So there are plenty of examples for them to draw off, and it's a blank canvas. They can do whatever they want and hopefully create or generate a bit more interest and save our game.
And the other thing too, the Americans, the American owners and the new stakeholders also understand the power of women's football and the Women's World Cup. And this contract is for how many years?
It's for, is it 3 at the
5
moment?
5 years.
5 years.
That's a big investment.
Yeah, 200 million over the 5 years. So it's approximately 30-40 million across those 5 years. And we know the Fox deal during COVID was about that 32 million mark. So not much changes there, but a whole lot changes in terms of how the game is going to be broadcasted. We're hearing that there will be a panel show as well to come with it. And they're going to put a lot of effort into publicising it. We'll see football promoted on shows like The Project and on the news, which is, what we've been asking for so long.
No, you're absolutely right. And you understand what run of the mill or run of the schedule ads mean. It means right across the day, right across the week. And that's important because everything will be visible, which it hasn't been for, the last couple of years. Let's talk about some of the other big news. The Australians will be playing, the Socceroos will be playing very shortly. Of course, the national coach has named a squad, and he's taken some players from key clubs.
He certainly has. Australia will play 4 matches in June. The time slots are a bit questionable, all at 2 or 4 a.m., but we've been deprived of the Socceroos for so long that I think people will get up to watch them. They're World Cup qualifiers too, so they mean quite a bit. You actually have to go back to, I think, 2019 to when Australia last played. We're currently 4 wins out of 4 in this first stage of qualifying. So you'd like to think we've secured that second round, which will see us up against your Japans, your South Koreas, your Irans and Iraq. It's when things get a bit more serious. But 4 games in the month of June is sensational. Disappointing that it clashes with the A-League finals because it's actually quite a heavy A-League team. You've got McLaren and Good, as well as a lot of Sydney players. Great to see guys like Ruan Tonic rewarded for his great work in the A-League. I shudder to think of how the Kuwaits and the Jordanians will think when they see big Harry Souttar and Ruan Tonic lining up at a set piece. The 2 of them are over 2 metres, so they'll be a scary sight to defend. No,
that'd be exciting. And you're right, well rewarded for what's been an outstanding season. Young Connor Metcalf, also from Melbourne City, has been rewarded for an outstanding year, a standout year. So some interesting times coming up. Now overseas, we've noticed that City has firmed itself as the champions of the EPL. We saw Atletico Madrid, and tears all round from Luis Suarez, who helped them get there when he was all but written off by Barca.
It was. He's won the La Liga 4 times prior to this, and he's won plenty of individual accolades, including the Champions League with Barca. But this one felt quite a bit to him, considering he was dumped by Barcelona. He's only, 31, 32, so he's still well within his prime. And it was he who added the nail in the coffin to help Atleti win the title right under the noses of Barca and Real Madrid. So this will be a very special one, a great redemption arc for him. And Barcelona look a bit silly letting him go so easily.
Somebody else feels pretty silly this morning. His name is Solskjaer, the coach of Manchester United. He got into another final, got into another strategically big game, and they got beaten by the Spaniards.
Well, this was the 16th time over the last 20 years that a Spanish side has beaten a non-Spanish side in a European Cup final, which is sensational. It's the 4th or 5th Europa League title that Unai Emery has won, given he had a fantastic run with all the other sides that he's managed, and now he's added Villarreal to that list. He also got Arsenal to a final too, where they were smashed by Chelsea. So he is a European specialist, Emery. Manchester United will be kicking themselves. They would have come in as heavy favourites, considering Villarreal finished 7th in La Liga, and unfortunately, the game was ended in the most heartbreaking of circumstances. After it finished 1-1 in normal time, we went to penalties, and Villarreal won 11-10 in the shootout. United's goalkeeper, David De Gea, missing that crucial penalty to gift Villarreal the tournament.
Oh dear, 11-10 on penalties. What will they think of next? Before I let you go, will Harry Kane stay or will he go?
Well, that's the question on everyone's lips at the moment. I'd like to think that he would stay, because you don't see him leading the Premier League, and then if you put that into account, there's only one or two other suitors there, and you wouldn't think Tottenham would want to give him up to a Premier League rival. So I'd like to think that he will stay. He is someone who has built his identity around Tottenham. Him, Son Heung-min, all of these guys would go down as Tottenham legends if they stayed and deliver a bit of success. There still is a very good team. It was a poor campaign this season, albeit they will be in the newly promoted European Conference League, so there's a chance there for silverware. But it is the question on everyone's lips. You'd think that his transfer fee may have a 2 in front of it if he was to go to sale. So he would cost a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah, and these are COVID times, and people aren't finding or don't have the money to play out there, unless, of course, they are from Qatar or they're from the City Football Group.
Right.
What I was going to say to you, there is another thing that's very much gnawing at our interest. Who's going to be the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur?
Well, we've seen this morning, and it's incredible because there's been so much news, but Antonio Conte has left Inter 3 weeks after winning the league. We've also seen Zidane step down from Real Madrid. So there are quite a few top-class managers available should they look over there.
Okay. As you know, if you ever want to talk about the round ball code, the man who does it for us on TheInformer is Athos Sirianos. He has been with us from the very beginning, doing a lot of work for FNR, Football Nation Radio. And right now he's keeping himself pretty busy in Ararat, building himself a new career in the media. Wish you all the very best. Catch you next time.
Thanks, George. See you then.
All the best, buddy.